Hi, my name is Manuel.
And I'm Felix, and we are the project managers of Ocean Alpha Arbitrage.
Throughout this video, we will explain to you the formation of this company and its history,
as well as the strategy that we have developed in order to achieve our goals.
Welcome to Ocean Alpha Arbitrage. My name is Cassandra and I will be guiding you through this presentation. Ocean Alpha Arbitrage is a non-profit project focused on developing subsidiary activities in the energy, healthcare, and human development industries. As we need a large quantity of assets to embrace these subsidiary projects, our main activity will be focused on raising funds and managing them towards acquiring a constant return that, compounded over time, will achieve the critical mass sufficient to successfully plant the seed for these other startups. So in summary, Ocean Alpha Arbitrage consists of an asset management structure that will increase its assets over time, generating incentive fees that will be fully redirected to projects in the energy, healthcare, and human development industries, thus contributing to our main goal of increasing life quality throughout the world. The Ocean Alpha project started in 2012 as an entrepreneur project in Cunha, one of the most important business schools in Spain. It was soon recognized as innovative and with great potential due to the high constant and low volatility returns achieved, the robustness of its strategy, and the business plan. The initial team was integrated by Manuel Fajardo, commodity and currency institutional trader specialized in quantitative strategies, whom you have already met at the beginning of this video, and Clara Murcia, who was responsible for the overall supervision of the business structure and macroeconomic strategy, having worked in the banking and energy sectors. As the project was being developed, two more members entered as advisors, Diego Garcia de la Peña and Bob Vanderdrink, both with great experience in the finance and energy sectors. In the following years, a new member entered the group, Felix Savino, whom you have also met at the beginning of the video and who now takes the lead of the marketing department for the project. So, how has the project developed over the past 2 years? The Ocean Alpha project was first designed and named as Ocean Hedge in order to create a financial culture in the Canary Islands and to protect the environment and the ecosystem of this geographical area from the eruption of oil drillings in its coasts, leading the returns to investigation of clean, renewable energies. As the team started to gain knowledge about ideas that could change the standards of life throughout the world, which would not be funded because of political, economical, or financial issues, the project started to become diversified and globalized as an international non-profit organization to fund such initiatives, which include researching illnesses and medical methods, such as the cure for cancer, new energy productions, such as cold fusion or thorium clean nuclear energy, and human development projects, such as mineralizing soil with alternative methods already developed but not exploited to enhance agriculture in places unable to sustain demand. Currently, we are in the financing rounds of the project. Due to the seriousness of the business plan and the experience of the team, we have been able to raise 1.3 million euros so far. Despite the fact that with this amount it would be theoretically plausible to start the company, custody and managing fixed costs are too high to fulfill the long-term commitment, and the estimated budget needed to gain momentum would be 2.4 million euros. With this in mind, we would be thankful for and compensate any contribution that you have in order to fulfill the financial requirements. But first, how is your money going to be managed? Let's have a look at the investment strategy. The strategy of Ocean Alpha Arbitrage is a quantitative proven method held in time and with high potential of triggering excess returns over small investment periods. It has three main branches: statistical arbitrage, macro strategy, and microstructure-based entry. The mix of these three strategies creates a kind of fixed income base that protects the capital when assuming macroeconomic-driven operations and positions itself in a way that reduces market impact created by high-volume orders. Let's start with a statistical arbitrage approach. Imagine that you are with a friend, drinking beer, and after a while this friend of yours is completely drunk. As weird as it may seem, you put him on a field and decide to try to predict what will be his next step. You will end up realizing that it is impossible to know where he is heading next. In math, we call this the drunkard's walk, a type of random process. But what about getting another friend drunk and tying both of them together with a rubber band? In this case, if you try to predict the trajectory of either of them individually, we arrive to the same problem. It is unpredictable. But on the other hand, we can actually forecast what will be the future position of one related to the other. If there is a maximum distance that they can move apart due to the fact that they are tied, there is only one way to go once they've reached this separation. They will tend to move until they come back together. This stationary relation, symbolized by the rubber band, is called co-integration. This same concept can be applied to the markets and the relation between assets. Once co-integration is found between two assets, you just need to wait until elongation reaches unsustainable levels, then short the asset that is being overvalued and buy the asset that is undervalued. Once they regress to the calculated point, you liquidate the positions to earn money. In Ocean Alpha Arbitrage, we have redefined the concept of co-integration trading because we have encountered one main problem. It is so easy to use that many investors apply it, which diminishes returns over time. To counter this problem and gain an edge, Manuel designed a two-way method. Instead of using co-integration vectors, risk would be diminished and returns enhanced by calculating multi-co-integration. For us to understand, we apply the same example of the drunkard's walk, but with more than two friends. We reach the lower time frames where co-integration is not held constant, devising an analytic strategy to anticipate the change of the co-integration vector value. Using this dynamic model of the co-integrations, we gain an advantage entering before other participants that use statistical arbitrage. This way of modeling dynamic co-integration values is our secret formula to success that has given us more than a 90% success rate with a minimum of a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. Okay, so we have finished with the statistical arbitrage, but you may say, hey, with these numbers we should earn a lot of money, right? Why introduce new strategies to the game? There are 3 reasons. Returns are small, opportunities are few, and it is the high-frequency fixed income part of our strategy. We have a 90% success rate, not a 100% success rate, and that means we need to manage our money wisely to limit the risk of ruin and to reach the long-term goal with this strategy, which is the risk counterpart to the following one. How do we achieve the high returns if we cannot afford them with the arbitrage? Imagine that you had to go to a casino and play roulette and you do not want to lose money. You have to have an insurance that must be equal to every penny that you bet so that in case you lose, you receive the same amount of money. In Ocean Alpha Arbitrage, this insurance is formed by the equity gained with the arbitrage strategy. Knowing that the money that we could lose taking positions against the market is secured by the fixed income, we are setting risk-free positions following a macroeconomic criterion. Let's use the following example. It is summer and everyone is enjoying their holidays at the beach. You realize that everyone is using sunscreen, so you decide to buy sunscreen in the supermarket in order to sell it at a higher price. 1 month passes and you see that you have not sold anything due to the fact that everyone has already bought sunscreen. What the intelligent investor would have done would have been to buy the sunscreen in the winter when the price is lower, to later sell it at a higher price in the summer. In Ocean Alpha Arbitrage, we model asset prices via econometric models, taking into account macroeconomic seasonal data as our main source of forecasting values to calculate future asset prices and to evaluate if, in the present, asset prices are overvalued or undervalued. Through the calculation of probabilities, we can manage to set a hedging criterion and know what is the optimal position size to acquire long-term excess returns while risking only the earnings that we have previously had with the statistical arbitrage approach. Finally, the microstructure-based entry consists of a series of algorithms capable of interpreting the short-term tolerance of the market towards absorbing a certain volume of orders. Taking into account liquidity and price movement, we can develop an approximate idea of the image of the general order book of the market, thus being capable of interpreting whether there exists more passive and aggressive investors or if the market is being ultimately driven by a flash false liquidity. The combination of these three strategies leads to high-yield, low-volatility returns in the long run. Afterwards, 9% of these excess returns is separated and divided into the energy, healthcare, and human development projects, depending on the financial needs of each individual activity.
In order to ensure the transparency and confidence, all investors will receive a monthly report with the result of the operations, as well as the budget of the subsidiary activities, and a brochure with the goals that we are trying to achieve.
And if after this presentation you want to invest in our project, you should ask us for more information about the strategy, written presentations, our regulators, the legal structure from which we will operate, and finally, any kind of information to be informed about the investment vehicle that you are going to contract and if it fits your risk tolerance.
Lastly, my team and I want to invite you to enter this non-profit project in order to give a real sense to your investment, not only in a profitable way, but also in a humanitarian way. Let's build something, you and us, that can make a difference. Let's build a better future. Let's hedge our future.
Let's hedge our future.
Let's hedge our future.